The Q project is a 5-year collaboration between the Faculty of Education at Monash University and the Paul Ramsay Foundation. It's seeking to better understand and improve the use of research by teachers.
So the reason why it's important for an organisation like the Paul Ramsay Foundation to support schools to use research evidence well is because when schools are looking to the best evidence of what has worked in other places or with kids who are like their kids, it gives the best chance of those kids that they're serving getting better outcomes. But it's also important for this to be a general capability rather than just run this one research-based program, because the diversity of needs that schools have to address are so big.
Q Project's work is really important because it's addressing a key gap in the research on the use of evidence. And that is that there's lots of work being done about the quality of the evidence, but very little about the quality of the use. And that means that teachers, school leaders and system leaders who want to use evidence better in their work don't have frameworks that they can go to understand how well they're doing it and how they can do it better.
Quality research can make a difference in education in a number of ways. We see throughout education, in policy and in practice, a recognition that we need to develop better evidence-informed practice. And to use evidence well can happen in a number of ways, one of which is through the use of research. The Q project has focused on understanding and improving the use of research. This research can be applied not only to teaching and learning, it can be applied to just about any aspect of school life, for everything from well-being to staff professional development and so on. We've found that a number of things need to happen in order to make exceptional practice common practice. These have to occur at all levels of schooling, from those making policy and implementing policy to those working in schools. When we started, very little was known about the use of research in education, and we have managed to cover a lot of ground in the last few years. We started by comparing education to other sectors, to developing a framework.
The Q project has been a huge collaboration with educators, school leaders and system leaders across 4 states and 5 different jurisdictions. And many of our surveys and other data collection processes have involved input from educators and school leaders right across the country. And the project, has involved collaboration with a whole range of other stakeholder organisations within education. So professional associations, national policy organisations, evidence brokers, and those have been both within Australia but also internationally. Collaboration is so important for a project that's on the use of research in practice, is that the expertise around using research well does not lie in universities. It sits within the professional expertise of educators, school leaders and system leaders. So they have to be involved really closely in working out what does using research well mean, what does it look like in practice, and how do you build it at the school level and the system level.
School leadership teams and teachers need to have this capability to use research well so that they can use that capability on any of the decisions that they face. This is particularly important in the most disadvantaged communities because it's those kids who really need a very positive and strong school experience to help them to thrive in life. Thinking about it as a general capability is important at the systemic level as well, and the Monash Q project is really important in helping to advance that part of the discussion too, so that systems are not just thinking about what's the one program, but are really thinking about how is this capability showing up across our system in how we support schools in our own work within departments. So this is a really important role that the Q project can play.
The Q project has achieved 2 things. First and foremost, it's improved our understanding of what it means to use research well in education. Secondly, we've been able to develop a suite of resources, self-assessment tools and professional learning to assist in the improvement of the use of research evidence. But I think a third achievement of the Q project has been to develop this fantastic network of educators, school leaders, jurisdictions and other people working within education to improve the life outcomes of young Australians.
Another important thing the Q project has achieved is to spark strategic dialogue around system change in relation to using research within Australian education. So we've brought together key system actors at the national, at the state level, across lots of different sectors, around how can we use research better as a system in terms of connecting it in with national school reform initiatives and other kinds of large-scale policy initiatives. We've definitely built new knowledge about the use of research in Australian schools. There was a real knowledge gap in relation to whether and how research was being used in Australian schools, and we've built that knowledge. We've also developed a clear framework about what it means to use research well. We've also identified capacity within the system, and by that I mean we've identified schools, school leaders, educators, system leaders who are using research in really interesting and varied ways and really have expertise. And that's powerful because it starts to identify where the capacity is for using research well within existing schools and systems. We've also brought people together. We've built a community around using research well. We've brought together system leaders, school leaders, educators, knowledge brokers, policymakers, all sorts of stakeholders and organisations across Australia who are interested in this question and realise they want to be involved in improving the use of research.